This is Sybert signing into Red Alert 3 on the map Murder Mesa. And spawning as the Green Empire on the left side, we do have from teammates, he is FISSEN. And this is an FFA, by the way. I just want to mention that, as we do have, also from teammates, AwesomeA. And we do have, as the Yellow Soviets, Goldy. As the Red Empire, we have Vindies. And finally, as the Cyan Empire player, we do indeed have m8s Panther. So this is an FFA, and as you can probably tell from the water, I did go ahead and turn that down from ultra high and high, which is where I normally fluctuate it between those two depending on what I think the game is going to be like. And it's down to medium because this map has a lot of water, and this is probably going to be a long game, which means I want to limit as many problems as possible. Anyways, let's take a quick look around Murder Mesa while these players are getting set up. We've got an oil derrick over there, an observation post there, and a hospital down there. We kind of have these tech centers, these tech buildings spread out around the outside, and actually they're all hospitals. For some reason I was thinking that there were a variety of buildings, but I guess they're all hospitals. And then as you can see, there's an oil derrick and also an observation post, kind of one for each player, but sometimes you do see players grab two of the oil derricks, and those are of course going to be important to have. And then you've got your two refineries in your main base, as we can see here from Goldy, a third refinery back there, and then of course there is kind of an outward refinery, and it varies. So like these two players on the bottom, they've got those refineries there, but then as you can kind of see, AwesomeA and Vindies, they kind of have their refineries. Vindies has his water refinery kind of out there, but he's also got a refinery back here. So it's kind of not quite symmetrical for each player, but it's basically symmetrical. Goldy is going to be moving out with his MCV onto the left side of the map. It looks like he's going for a fast fourth refinery. He decided to go over to kind of the FISSEN side of things rather than to the Panther side of things. So I guess he's going to be doing that. We do have a third refinery out, and actually, how many Allies players do we have? Because I know we have Vindies and Goldy are definitely Allied players, but they both got Empire, and actually everybody is Empire. Everybody's Empire except for Goldy, who's normally an Allies player. And then of course Sheriff AA, he's going to be AwesomeA, is going to be super happy that he got Empire because that is his primary faction. FISSEN, not sure what he plays. I think he's an Allies player, but that's just me guessing, basically. And then Panther, I have no idea what he plays normally. Vindies is going to be grabbing a couple of these oil derricks pretty early on, and already we are seeing some tsunami tanks out from Sheriff AA. So he is most likely going to be sitting that tier 2 onto the naval yard. He doesn't actually have a mecha bay at all, so he's going to be going primarily for Navy. We may be seeing a fast 3. Yeah, we are seeing fast tier 3 out of AwesomeA, which is not surprising at all. Vindies is starting to hit his opponent's Panther, is going to be taking a little bit of economic damage, and I definitely really like that idea out of Vindies, trying to hit early and weaken your opponents early on so that you can go ahead and get an economic advantage as quickly as possible in the north. AwesomeA again trying to tear up this base of his opponent and make sure that FISSEN can't really get a leg to stand on. A bear is going to be heading out. FISSEN does have some nice Yari mini-subs going to be sent around the map, and he might be able to start taking down some of Goldy's expansions, but Goldy needs to get up to tier 2 relatively quickly. Actually, already up to tier 2, has been for a little while, so that means Akula subs are on the menu. Will they actually be produced? We'll have to see, but it's definitely something with this much water. You definitely need Akula subs, and of course, you should be throwing down dreadnoughts if at all possible. Vindies is established in the middle of the map, and it looks like he's trying to take actually a couple of these expansions in the middle of the map, and this is the name of the game. For any game that's pretty much not 1v1, typically you either want to go for some sort of immediate kill of your opponent or hard eco. You want to go super crazy into the eco. The conscripts are going to be running away. I mean, killing 5 or 6 conscripts, however, there's only 5 here, so killing 5 conscripts, if he would have gotten that many, not really a big deal. And especially when you're trading it for a couple of Imperial Warriors, not too big of a deal. You gotta hand it to Goldy, though. I mean, if any of the scouting information was all that relevant, then it would be absolutely great. But realistically, the players next to you are the ones that you actually need to start scouting first. And is it very important to necessarily scout AwesomeA and Vindies? Not nearly so, but we do have Vindies potentially taking a little bit of damage here. He is going to be controlling relatively well, or at least well enough to save his chopper VXs. And I mean, you can see the range on those C-Wings is pretty crazy, and I love to see C-Wings just because they're not used very often. And Panther caught between a rock and a hard place. Ow! He loses both of the Striker VXs. Very unfortunate there that he ended up losing both of those Strikers. And of course, this guy's trapped because Strikers can't walk on water. And then on top of that, if they try to... Oh, and the oil derrick will not be sniped down, or rather it won't be captured. Because, I mean, shout out to Goldy there, but you gotta... Even if you get to the oil derrick, or to an enemy structure, you still have to capture it. But the Tesla coil is going to be going down for Goldy. He is not going to be able to establish himself quite easily in this sort of middle island location, this sort of precipice that's in the middle. We do indeed... Oh, Goldy! So very unfortunate. His flying MCV is going to be getting smashed down by Panther's Eureka. And Panther's like, you remember those Strikers you killed earlier in this game? I think it's time for me to take a little bit of revenge on that and go ahead and take my revenge on you for killing my Strikers. We are going to be seeing Eureka pop out and should be going for the oil derrick, or the super reactor, pretty darn easily. As you can see, Goldy has grabbed that oil derrick away from FISSEN, and the bear gets annihilated by that super reactor. Vindies grabs his hospital, and we do have tier 3, but no Shogun battleships that I've seen out of AwesomeA. Although he probably has them over here. Yes, they're right there. So Shogun battleships on the north side, and also Eureka Omega. Oh, actually pausing right there could turn it around and go ahead and jump her out. If you get just the right angle, you can actually kill a huge amount of bears because of the psychokinetic burst ability of Eureka, and it's got a pretty crazy range as well. Tank hunters are going to be... Tank hunters are from Generals in Zero Hour, but tank busters, rather, are going to be out on the field, and we do have those Shogun battleships. They're just kind of waiting. They could go ahead and take out that oil derrick, or even potentially start working on that observation post if he gets vision of it. Vindies is going to be heading out with lots of whatever you do indeed call Yari mini subs, however they are referred to. FISSEN is like, oh no, Panther. So Goldy getting smashed down pretty darn early. I mean, Goldy was in a pretty solid position, but then FISSEN and Panther both kind of coming down on Goldy, not quite at the same time exactly, but when you lose your MCV, even if your next opponent attacks a couple minutes later, it's going to be pretty difficult. These Sea Wings should be able to deal with Eureka quite easily, and actually, she didn't even pop out of that sudden transport, so that was a nice mistake there from Panther. And Psionic Decimator has been built, so we do have the first super weapon going to be getting thrown down from Panther. Hopefully, this game doesn't extend on too much longer, as we do have Sea Wings going to be clearing out Goldy a little bit here. And of course, Goldy is probably going to be getting forced out of this game. The MCV has been rebuilt, which is quite a feat considering that he lost his tech and both of his home refineries quite a while ago. And then he was forced to, from the tsunami tanks, he lost this refinery as well. FISSEN is going to have to start dealing with Panther eventually, but in the north we do have Sheriff AA and Vindies, which are the top two players of this match, I would say. Probably the two best players, I would say, and probably the two with the most experience. And they're going to be in the north. They're just kind of battling it out amongst themselves, but I think that Vindies has an economic advantage. It's hard to say for sure, as these middle ore refineries have all been grabbed, 2 by Vindies, 1 by AwesomeA, 1 by Panther, and 1 by FISSEN. As we do have on the right side of the map, well, a bunch of Yari mini-subs going to be coming out for AwesomeA, and he's going to be doing what he can. Also, Tengus are showing up, as well as Eureka Omega, going to be clearing out some of AwesomeA's structures, and then potentially going to be taking out that refinery. Yes, indeed, she is. If she jumps back inside of that transport, it will not be a good idea. And the Tengu's helping Eureka Omega finish off some of those units, and AwesomeA is going to be able to clean up, it looks like, just about everything out on the water. So AwesomeA went for that water sort of strategy and for those fast Shoguns, and it is indeed paying off. Of course, the Tier 3 has been thrown down quite a while for Vindies, and he is going to be heading out. The MCV gets sniped down by a combination of Tengus and Eureka Omega, which is not something you see very often. 2 Stingrays being juggled in the air, and of course, if you've got the control, you can keep quite a few units in the air with Eureka, and for some reason, I'm not actually sure that that fate was any better for those Sea Wings than just trying to engage Eureka Omega straight up. AwesomeA maybe just trying to get the shots off on Eureka Omega to kill her at the sacrifice of his units, but it's going to be the same either way. Even the Harvester goes down to Yuriko. Goldy getting punched out of this game. He's just getting punched in the face from pretty much everyone, unfortunately. And I mean, when you've got that many people punching you in the face, it is a hard thing to deal with. Yuriko is actually going to be receiving, I believe, a double health bonus. Once from the hospital and once from the fully heroic status that she is out. 2 tsunami tanks are going to be focusing down one of these Shogun battleships, and unfortunately for AwesomeA, he has been defeated, but also one of his Shogun battleships was being locked down by a Rocket Angel. So now Vindies, who has been hurt pretty heavily from Sheriff AA, is going to be in he's going to be in a bad position, but he's not going to be in a terrible position, as, a fully elite Yuriko Omega goes down, and now suddenly Goldy's MCV is in the middle of those Tengus. Not actually sure why FISSEN transformed. He could have just gone out to the water, and then he would have been safe from crushing and still killed off Goldy's MCV, but I'm guessing Goldy was like, no, typing into chat, please don't kill my MCV. I just want to live. I just want to live and have a life. As we do have from Vindies, he's still going pretty hard with the oil derricks, and he's also got some pretty good eco behind it. One Harvester does get sniped down really quite excellently by Vindies, as he is going to be able to control those Tengus well enough to transform them all and tell them to attack. Tsunami Tank's going to be moving out against the Wave Force Artillery of Panther, but Panther isn't... Oh, he actually gets both of those Tsunami Tanks. Some nice potential control there from Panther, and now he's actually going to be using the Force Fire attack. Oh, Vindies, what are you doing? Controlling somewhere else on the map, unfortunately, as a terror drone from Goldy is taking his revenge on Panther as much as possible. Unfortunately, the Wave Force Artillery are going to be getting stuck a little bit there. And now suddenly Tengus are going down in mass. Vindies had enough to hold the ground, to hold the line in the air, while the rest of the Tengus did, well, some of them did get eliminated by Yuriko. And Goldy is still somehow in this game. I'm not actually sure why he is still in here. He's got so little incoming. He's taken down a little bit from Panther, but Panther really has not taken a lot of damage to his economy and to his infrastructure that he's built up. At the same time, we do have 2 mecha bays, one of them tier 3. And Panther, just a sort of pro tip here, if you actually place your refineries, you don't need to build as many cores. Kind of works better than having a lot of cores and no refineries, is having a lot of refineries and no cores. As he finally sees that, unfortunately, his refineries were likely bugging out. Is, if you don't know, like a lag that's just caused in-game can sometimes cause orders to not be given out, or you get the case of where you tell a unit to build, and it's a perfectly legal spot to build, like, say, out here. You tell them to build out there, there's nothing blocking it, and then for some reason the AI reports, oh, we can't deploy there, and so your core just stops moving. I know that can be a big problem, particularly in the larger matches. As Vindies, his MCV is going to be getting caught and smashed down by these King Onis, but he does have, I believe, a Yuriko inside of that civilian structure. The MCV goes down, which that might actually be the second MCV that went down. No, actually, that was Sheriff AA's, AwesomeA's MCV that ended up going down. We may see a psychokinetic burst coming out, as I do believe it locks down all vehicles within range, or it might just be enemy vehicles within range. But we do have nice juggling coming out there from Vindies, and at the same time, FISSEN is going to be locking down one of the refineries coming out from Panther, so Panther isn't going to be very happy about that. But at the same time, FISSEN is going to be establishing one of his own refineries. Chemicals coming down from Goldy. Goldy mostly reduced to just 1 clicks and slowly taking a second refinery. So Goldy looking for the epic comeback, but will it actually happen? We'll have to see. Don't count him out just yet, since this is an FFA. The only one you can really count out is AwesomeA, who, has left the game, so he's got, like, literally no chance of winning this. I don't think you can have a smaller chance of winning if you're not participating. It's awfully hard to win. Yari mini subs coming out from Vindies, and this is definitely a good idea. And the one thing that you can do is split up into multiple different attack forces and start hitting multiple enemies, but that can also garner, counter attacks from multiple different enemies. And that Yari mini sub, hardly no health left at all. You'd have to blow up that health bar pretty far to actually be able to see that final bit of HP that was left on it. And it looks like Vindies will be able to get away. Oh! That is where the Wrath of Panther did indeed fire off. Didn't actually do too much. It looks like it took out a couple of power plants and also some production facilities. Some walls were definitely decimated as well, but other than that, not too much ended up going down And we do have Striker VXs desperately trying to find an opening with those Yari mini-subs, but the Yari mini-subs just kite away and end up getting pretty much away safely. And actually, we're kind of getting to the point where some of these ore nodes... Nope, we still got about 8 grand left on that one, so probably about 8 to 10 grand left on the rest of these ore nodes, but in a couple of minutes, the ore nodes are going to start to dry up, so there'll be even less income for these players. Some nice transform here by Vindies, and with this combination of Rocket Angels, not something we see in 1v1 very often, and Strikers, these Tengus will all be getting eliminated. And as Panther loses his last Tengus, he is going to be a little bit sad there. And we actually do have Goldy going to be throwing down a third refinery eventually. There it goes, as he does go ahead and drop that down when he can. And a Tsunami tank coming out from Vindies going to be able to clean up that final refinery. Yes, he does get the Harvester. He won't get the refinery because of the Sea-Wings showing up for FISSEN. But FISSEN is going to be in a pretty strong position as well, and he's actually starting to potentially push back a little bit of Panther. Panther is going to have to deal with a Eureka Omega, and I mean, even if you've got Emperor's Rage, oh man, dealing with Eureka inside of a building, it's so extremely difficult. And I mean, she's got pretty good range as well. As you can see, Panther was like, okay, I'm pulling back a little bit here. I'm going to not go ahead and engage too quickly. But at the same time, it looks like FISSEN is going to be moving in here. And FISSEN, right now, he's like, really, Goldy, would you like me to come over there and just backhand you across this map? Because he totally can. And the Tengus do transform. Is Eureka going to be coming out of her structure? Maybe, maybe not. I think he's just trying to bait these Tengus. He doesn't even have to bait them, as he is going to be bringing Eureka back onto the front lines. But the Wave Force Artillery, will he actually be getting the shots off that he needs? No, yes, maybe so, as we're going to be seeing as one shot does almost take down Eureka, but a second shot will be finishing her off. Potentially, it's going to be extremely close. He's trying to get the range he needs. And will he actually get her? He's trying to finish her off. Yes, he does kill Eureka, which means the rest of this army is not going to be quite as powerful, but he doesn't have anything to really stop it. He does have a fully heroic Striker, which FISSEN can deal with quite readily, as the Striker is forced to transform and will be able to clean up a couple of more Tengus. But the Tengus, if they turn their attention to the Striker, they might be able to clean it up before the Wave Force Artillery annihilates them. We do have Vindies in the north. He is currently sitting on a very, very healthy-looking army, and he has got Eureka Omega up and running somewhere in that mass of units. But we also do have Goldy trying to take back some of his original refineries. He's currently sitting on that 4-refinery economy, doing his best to play Soviets, you know, to the best of his ability. And oh, that Tesla Trooper getting so close to being a hero, but he was just ultimately a guy who fell over in a pool of electricity, which is not a good way to go down. Oh my gosh, FISSEN, just so many Shogun battleships, as we have an absolutely insane army coming out for FISSEN. And Panther is a little bit upset here with Vindies. He's like, hey man, those are my walls, you know. You can't set up a Harvester around with my walls. As oh, those Flak Troopers actually able to do a fair bit of damage, and now Goldy is like, okay, FISSEN, remember that time you let my MCV go? You want to just go ahead and do that again? Because the power of Tier 3 Empire out on the water is almost unmatched. I mean, with this many Shogun battleships, absolutely insane. And that Harvester will actually eventually go down. He is focusing down the building, but those Molotov cocktails should finish it off. And no! FISSEN is like, hey, wait a second. I can actually control this ore collector to be even more effective at killing basic infantry. And that is exactly what he's going to be doing. And then suddenly Goldy's like, oh yeah, Terror Drones are a pretty good unit. But it's also a good unit. 47 Shogun battleships. Somebody actually bothered to count these, because I am not going to in the middle of this game. We do actually have a sudden transport moving out for FISSEN, which likely does contain a Eureka Omega. And as we can see, Vindies and FISSEN dominating the map. I think Vindies is a little bit ahead economically, but FISSEN is not far behind by any stretch of the imagination. And we do have the Nanoswarm Hive and the Psionic Decimator. Both are out on the field, as FISSEN is going to be cleaning up everything of Goldy's pretty much. Goldy is going to be running his MCV, hoping that he can kind of kill this expansion from Panther and then go ahead and reestablish himself there. That refinery finally did go down, as these Shogun battleships are actually, no, there's not a single heroic one. I thought they were going to be a lot more decorated than they actually were. So actually, those Shogun battleships are not decorated. That is the proper sentence that I did indeed want to say. And I think at this point, Panther and Goldy are probably like, hey, FISSEN, what if you go and fight Vindies while Vindies is attacking Panther? Wouldn't that be fun? Why don't you go do that instead of killing me? Thanks, Goldy, lots of love, hearts, and be my Valentine. That's what the message said, and then he sent it off, and everyone saw it because he would have to, of course, use the all chat because there are no teams in an FFA. That's kind of the definition of it, but we do have an additional Shogun battleship because the 40 million that he already had were not enough. And I mean, you gotta wonder, like, how much technology went into making those Shogun battleships, and then they're like, what's the best way to get from point A to point B? Maybe if we all get on a single file line and don't go, you know, 2 or 3 abreast, that'll be the best way to travel so that we stretch out about a mile long and end up having an absolutely ridiculous time getting somewhere. Panther has been defeated. Goldy is going to be so happy because he's like, maybe if I sit on the edge of the map, everyone will forget I exist. Goldy, the best way to get people to forget you exist is to not go ahead and blow up their stuff when you have nothing to really kill it with. He's going to be grabbing that oil derrick, which honestly, FISSEN has more things to worry about, as he does indeed see this giant army. And we may actually be seeing a sort of base race situation, although we do have the Psionic Decimator ready to go, or not the Psionic Decimator, the Hive, the Nanoswarm Hive ready to go. And then, in 2.5 minutes, the Psionic Decimator will be ready to go. Shogun battleships heading out, and Goldy, it is not meant to be. I am sorry, but it is just not meant to be. And he's calling down the satellites on that refinery from FISSEN, but he doesn't actually have enough to finish it off, and FISSEN is probably actually happy because those were actually bugged out harvesters anyway. So as you can see, we're starting to get this wraparound effect where we've got on the south side Vindies just heading out across the map, and on the north side we do have FISSEN heading out in the opposite direction, so I guess more of like a pinwheel sort of thing going on. And the Tengu line is going to be heading out. He's arriving at the main base of FISSEN. FISSEN, can he actually hold off the vast army of Vindies? I would say no, but then again, once you activate a base race situation with Empire, oh goodness, it is so hard to actually get a win in that situation. The MCV hasn't been called off the line. Maybe not. I'm assuming no. As, yes, it actually has. So send out those power plants to the corners of the map, yo. That is what you gotta do to survive those base race situations. And actually, the bullfrogs from Goldy clean up. Oh! The wonderful, honorable discharge killing a refinery trick. Something that is not really something you can do intentionally. It only kind of can happen accidentally, but you can try to do it intentionally. But Vindies will be getting the kill on that refinery, and I think that was the last refinery of Goldy. Yeah, he's got pretty much nothing left, but he's still in this game. However, unfortunately for him, Vindies decided to move out in the opposite direction of the massive army of his opponent. And we do have mass Tengu going to be moving out for Panther, for FISSEN rather. Panther has been defeated, and finally, oh, these strikers are actually all going to be going down. And yeah, I mean, you can transform your strikers, but really, what is that actually going to be doing? Eureka Omega is out in mass, and all of these Tengus are going to have to be called back, and there's actually going to be the I don't care. So that was the I don't care move. What? Isn't that supposed to lock units in? I don't understand what just happened there, as we actually do have a massive amount of Shogun battleships which have decided to not kill the Psionic Decimator. Oh, he just let Vindies think that it was gonna finish, and then he's like, lol, JK, and he just totally owned it. As there we do indeed have FISSEN owning absolutely everything in Vindies' main base, but Goldy, what are you still doing in this game? What are you doing? You really think you can make a comeback in this game? You've gotten smacked down so many times, but you gotta hand it to Goldy. He's like, no, I got this, guys, don't worry. We actually do have some fully heroic Shogun battleships mixed in here, and unfortunately, it looks like we also have a couple of Sea Wings mixed in here from FISSEN. So FISSEN's trying to do some damage, and Vindies is trying to do what he can, or no, that must be, yeah, never mind. I got the colors mixed up, as we do have FISSEN going to be coming in here. So many Rocket Angels showing up, and they will be able to annihilate a lot of these Shogun battleships. They can even lock down some of them to stop them from doing even more damage to the infrastructure and the buildings of Vindies. He needs to make sure that he finishes off a lot of these Shogun battleships. Going for the heroic ones first is definitely a good idea, and think that was a Yari mini-sub. It's hard to tell exactly what that was, but we do have Sea-Wings getting focused down. The Tengus show up at just the last second. A great move here by FISSEN is eliminating all of the Rocket Angels, and that was kind of the last bastion of hope for Vindies, as FISSEN is going to be reaching all the way across the map to slap Vindies in the face. But can he actually finish it off? Vindies is doing some nice DPS to the Tengus, but is that going to be enough to stop the Shogun battleships? The battle of the artillery, but Emperor's Rage is pretty darn good, as we do have lots and lots of Shogun battleships going down. The last fully elite Shogun battleship for Vindies going to be firing off its final shots, and a last salvo will take it down. All 4 of those heroic, they are. So the absolute best you can get Shogun battleships are on the field. I'm not sure if they have any of the top secret protocols that affect them. Whatever the naval yard, the fortified fleet upgrade. I'm not sure if that affects Shogun battleships. I think it does, but I'm not 100% sure. And Goldy, you gotta, my gosh, this guy, he drops down a Crusher Crane. He's got 1 Twin Blade, which is fully heroic, getting the kill on that refinery. And that is a lot of Tengus, and that is what we call a trapped MCV. So yeah, you may have a lot of Shogun battleships, but can you actually deal with a counterattack across the map? So many Tengus just focusing down an MCV, not something you see very often, and the Yari mini-subs are doing what DPS they can, but is it enough to actually finish the job? The answer is obviously no, as you just see so many Tengus. They're just weathering the storm. They're tearing down so many of these units, and actually the Honorable Discharge going to be potentially taking down that Yari mini-sub. They are getting pretty much free kills, or rather free repairs and free kills, actually, as that Yari mini-sub goes fully heroic before he's actually able to take down one of those Tengus. He might be able to get the second Tengu as well, and he will be able to in just like 4 or 5 shots. So how many shots does it take for a Yari mini-sub that's fully heroic to kill a Tengu? However many that was, 4 or 5 or something. The tier 3 does get sold off. This refinery will have to be salvaged, as well as these Tengus are absolutely going to town on the rest of FISSEN's stuff. And Goldy is still in this game. He has got himself a Twin Blade. He has got himself a naval yard and a refinery sitting on the south side of this map. And I mean, hey, if FISSEN and Vindies just slap each other around for a while, then suddenly Goldy is going to be in a good position. But can he actually finish off? Can he actually finish off either one of these players? I think FISSEN is the favorite to take it, but it's an FFA, so you never really know. And there's so much going out on the map that it's hard to say for sure, as this ore refinery gets focused down by Skywings. I mean, Skywings killing anything is a rare treat. Killing a refinery in the middle of a map, even more rare, as the Tengus show up and Vindies has been defeated. I think that was actually his last structure there, so it's down to Goldy and FISSEN, an unlikely duo here, as Goldy has got kind of the spread out infrastructure, but he doesn't have the units. And that's a bit of a problem, because Yari mini-subs can kill things. Refineries, power plants, and Crusher Cranes cannot kill things, and that is an extremely close to depleted ore mine. So, actually, wait a second. There are very, very few structures. Where are actually the structures? The MCV is gone. Oh my gosh. Oh, wow. If actually Goldy, if he took absolutely everything, which is like 1 Twin Blade, and he went up here, he might actually be able to end the game. He might actually be, like, technically, he might be able to win this game, but I don't think he knows it. Oh, he actually is rallied everything up to the north. Is it actually going to be a legitimate base race situation? He's got an MCV, and that is something that FISSEN does not have. FISSEN with the high-tech army, the fully heroic Shogun battleships, 5 of them in total, all of them fully heroic. Never mind, there's 6, but he's only a veteran, and he's almost dead. Well, look at that. Look at that guy. He's hanging with all the fully heroic Shogun battleships. He's like, hey, bros. You want to let go, hang out, and do fun things together? Oh, the Tengu's coming in from FISSEN. Will they be able to catch? Oh, no, the Twin Blade does turn around. This is the exact perfect move, because of course, if the Twin Blades if the Tengu's transform, are they? Oh, nope, never mind. All right, FISSEN's got this. Never mind. Theory crafting all aside about perfect unit engagements. I think there's literally nothing that Goldy can do to kill a refinery on the ground. That was the perfect move from FISSEN. And that should seal the deal. I don't think there's like any way for Goldy to actually win. I don't think. I could be wrong, but I mean, he is going to be throwing down a Tesla coil and an airfield, which is what he would need. But I don't know that he can actually hold off this mass Tengu on one side and mass Shogun battleship on the other side. As even these walls, which could be sold off by Goldy, are going to be getting taken out. and FISSEN is going to be able to eliminate pretty much everything. I mean, he's closing in from every side. He's got Yari mini-subs, C-Wings, Sky-Wings, moving in from the south, from the north. We've got mass Tengus, and over here, we've got a lone C-Wing who just kind of hangs out by himself and doesn't really do anything with the group. He's just like, no, man, I want to go to the north. I don't want to go to the south. I want to go to the north. Be cool with all my friends. That wall does go down, but there is still income for Goldy, which is, I mean, if for some reason FISSEN is like, let's not kill the stuff that Goldy has, then Goldy will be able to start rebuilding a little bit there, get himself out some Twin Blades, which, I mean, still, he has to deal with a metric ton of Tengus, which, I mean, if you count all the scrap metal that's in them, probably a lot more than just a single ton. As we do have the super reactor going to be getting focused down, and this Twin Blade, can he actually escape on out of there? He does actually escape. The super reactor goes down, damages a fair bit of that, but there are going to be the Tengus. They're trying to focus down that two of those bullfrogs. Oh, nope, never mind. Again, Goldy gets so close to being the hero that we want, the hero that we want him to be, but he can't do it. The MCV is what is left, as well as this refinery. FISSEN, a big congratulations to him, as there's almost literally no way for Goldy to win this game. What is he actually doing? What is he doing? What is that up there? Okay, Goldy has been defeated. I was really worried. I was like, wait a second. How is he going to do this? FISSEN is going to be taking this game. And I think we can all agree that Shogun battleships are absolutely awesome. So all of you who always complain that you never get to see Tier 3 Empire, there you go. We got Tier 3 Empire and so much more. That was a really bad sentence. In such great quantities. We have such great quantities of Tier 3 Empire that Vindies, with his huge economic lead, was not able to win this game. As you can see, FISSEN and Goldy pretty much plateauing there. FISSEN and Vindies plateauing there. Goldy, he plateaued a little bit there. Sheriff AA, AwesomeA, was the first one out of that game. 30-minute long game, and AwesomeA was only there for about 10 minutes of it. In total, 223,853 credits were indeed harvested by Vindies, which is a huge amount more over that of any of the other players in this game. Wait a second. Oh yeah, it was, for some reason I was thinking it was a 6-player game, and I was really confused as to why there was only 5 players. I was like, wait, how did this happen? I mean, I've seen replay bugs, but this is weird. Anyways, that will be doing it for this game. An exciting FFA with an unusual and unlikely final 2 that it came down to. Thank you very much for watching 4 Empires, 1 Soviet, duel it out on Murder Mesa. And that will pretty much be doing it for this game. Of course, more to come very soon, as probably tomorrow. But within the next week, there will probably be another video up. So yeah, what do you think of that? This is Sybert signing out.